Good morning. Welcome to our course, Therapeutic Modalities. So for this time, we are already in the last chapter of our instructional material, which is the right and privileges of inmates. So last meeting, this is just a recap regarding our discussion last meeting regarding the meaning of rights and privilege. So if we say right, it is the power which a person has to demand from another. While if we say privilege, it is a right or an immunity granted as a peculiar benefit or advantage or a favor to a somebody. So that is with regards to the meaning of rights and privileges. So aside from the rights and privilege, we also discuss the classes of rights. We have three classes of rights, which is the natural rights, constitutional rights, and statutory rights. If we say natural rights, these are rights possessed by every citizen without being granted by the government or the state. And if we say constitutional rights, these are rights which are conferred and protected by the Constitution. And if we say statutory rights, these are rights provided by laws. So those are the classes of rights. Aside from the classes of rights, we were able to discuss also the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So on the part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, there are 30 rights that are being observed. No, so one is all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. So those are just an example on the universal human rights of a person since we have discussed this last meeting via Google Meet. No, so aside from the universal declaration of universal human rights of a person, we also have here the human rights in the Philippines. Human rights in the Philippines can be found also in the 1987 Constitution under Section 3, which is the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights defined as a declaration and enumeration of persons' rights and privileges, which the Constitution is designated to protect against violations by the government or by an individual or by a group of people. So that is with regards to rights. Aside from the human rights in the Philippines, under the Bill of Rights, we also have here the classifications of constitutional rights. We have here the political rights, civil rights, socio-economic and cultural rights, the rights of the accused. So, under the political rights, these are rights of the citizens which give them the power to participate directly or indirectly in the establishment or administration of the government. While civil rights, it pertains to law that will enforce at instance of private individual for the purpose of securing to them the enjoyment of their means of happiness. And for the socio-economic and cultural rights, those are rights which are intended to ensure the well-being and the economic security of the individual. And lastly is the rights of the accused. The rights of the accused are those that are intended for the protection of a person accused of any crime. So, aside from the classifications of constitutional rights, we also have here the constitutional rights of the accused in criminal cases, which one example is the right to adequate legal assistance. Another is the right when under investigation for the commission of an offense to be informed of his right and to remain silent and to have a counsel. That is under the constitutional rights of the accused in criminal cases. And also we have here the Miranda rights of person under criminal investigation. Under the Miranda rights, we have here the right to remain silent, the right to have a competent and independent counsel, preferably of at his own choice, and the right to be informed of these rights, and the right to be provided with the services of a counsel if he cannot afford the services of one. And aside from the Miranda rights, we also have here the rights of the accused at the trial. So, under the Section 1, Rule 115 of the Revised Rules in Criminal Procedure, the accused shall be entitled of the following rights, like to presume innocent until the contrary is proven beyond reasonable doubts. So, that is just an example regarding the rights of the accused at the trial. And lastly is the Commission on Human Rights, or also known as the CHR. On the Commission of Human Rights, or the CHR, it provides the appropriate legal measures for the protection of human rights of all persons within the Philippines, as well as also those who are abroad. So maybe you're wondering, what if those Filipino citizens who are OFW or who are working abroad? The Commission on Human Rights, or the CHR, also uh, included those Filipinos residing abroad and provides for their preventive measures and legal aid services to those unprivileged whose human rights have been violated or need to be protected. So even though those who are uh, in the other countries but they are Filipino citizens, they are still under the Commission on Human Rights can still fight for their rights regarding their rights, especially those who are unprivileged. And aside from the CHR, we also have here the rights and privileges of inmates under the BGMP Section 1, Rule 5, Chapter 1 of the BGMP Manual Revised 2007. So, on the rights and privileges of inmates, one is the right to be treated as a human and not to be subjected to corporal punishments. So, those are just an example, or the rights under the following category, no? So if you want to know more, or if you want to be well versed of the rights under the different category, you can have a read on your instructional materials since it was already distributed, no? So this will be the last video, and this will be the last discussion that we will be having this semester. And if in case you have questions and queries, please feel free to ask or utilize the comment box of our FB group. So that's all, and have a good day.